Everybody, welcome back. Shabbat Shalom. It is April 5th and Sabbath day. We'll be reading from Hallelujah Scriptures, John Yochanan chapter 9. We got Braden here and Puppy Dog. Alright, so, and passing by he saw a man. And his disciples asked him, saying, Rabbi, who sinned, that this man or his parents, that he should be born blind? Yeshua answered, neither this man nor his parents sinned, but that the works of Elohim might be made manifest in him. It is necessary for me to work the works of him who sent me while it is day, because night is coming and nobody is able to work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Having said this, he spat on the ground and made clay with the saliva and applied the clay to the eyes of the blind man. And he said to him, go, wash in the pool of Shiloh, which translates to sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. Therefore the neighbors and those who saw him before that he was blind said, is this not the man who was sitting and begging? Others said, this is he. And others said, this is like him. He said, I am. So they said to him, how were your eyes open? And he answered and said, a man called Yeshua made clay and applied it to my eyes, and said to me, go to the pool of Shiloh and wash. And I went and I washed, and I received sight. And they said to him, where is he? He said, I don't know. They brought to the Pharisees the one who was once blind. Now it was Sabbath, when Yeshua made the clay and opened his eyes. Therefore the Pharisees also asked him again, how he had received his sight. He said to them, he put clay on my eyes and washed, and now I see. Therefore some of the Pharisees said, this man is not from Elohim, because he does not guard the Sabbath. Others said, how is a man who is a sinner able to do such miracles? And there was a division among them. So they said to the blind once again, what do you say about him because he opened your eyes? He said, he is a prophet. However, the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind and received his sight. So they called his parents in. And they asked them, saying, is this your son? You say he was born blind, but how does he now see? His parents answered and said, we don't know. But he was born blind. He is of age, ask him, he shall speak concerning himself. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jews, for the Jews had already agreed that if anyone confessed that he was Mashiach, he should be put out of the congregation. And because of this, his parents said, he is of age, ask him. So for the second time they called the man who was blind and said to him, give esteem to Elohim. We know that this man is a sinner. And then he answered and said, whether he is a sinner, I don't know. I only know that I was blind and now I see. And they asked him once more, what did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? The man said, I've already told you and you did not hear. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his prophet too, or his disciple too? Then they abused him and said, you are his disciple, but we are disciples of Moshe. We know that Elohim has spoken to Moshe, but this one we don't know where he is from. The man answered and said to them, why, this is a wonder. You do not know where he is from, but he opened my eyes. And we know that Elohim does not hear sinners, but if anyone reveres Elohim and does his desires, he hears him. From of old it has been heard that anyone opened the eyes of the one who was born blind. If this one were not from Elohim, he would not have been able to do that. They answered and said to him, you were completely born in sins, and are you teaching us? And they cast him out. They didn't like that very much. I'm in verse 35. So Yeshua heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found them, he said to him, "Do you believe in the Son of Elohim?" He answered and said, "Who is he, Adonai, that I might believe in him?" And Yeshua said to him, "You have both seen him, and he who speaks with you is he." Wow. And he said, "Adonai, I believe," and bowed before him. And Yeshua said, "For judgment I have come into this world, that those not seeing might see, and those seeing might become blind." And those of the Pharisees who were with him heard these words, and said to him, "Are we blind too?" Yeshua said, "If you were blind, you would have no sin. But now you say, 'We see, therefore your sin remains.'" That concludes chapter 9. Wow, there's a lot going on here, and I love this chapter. Brayden, you love this chapter?
Yes, and my favorite part is when Yeshua, put clay and he spit into the clay.
Yes.
And rubbed it on the man's eyes.
Imagine seeing that, right? How did he...
Did he take, mud? Not clay, mud?
He spit on the dirt and made clay. So, picture dry dirt and then spitting on it and, rubbing it in your hands, so it would be like mud.
And it made someone
put it on his eyes and told him to go wash. The man did exactly what he said, and his sight came back to be. And then he says in verse, one of my favorite parts is in verse, around 20 through, 30. The man's parents get called in and was like, "How is this man... He was born blind. How does he see?" And the parents are like, "Go ask him yourself. He's old enough." The man tells them, and they don't believe him, so they ask him again. He's like, "Look, y'all, you don't hear me. I already told you. The man, I was blind, now I see." The man took the dirt and made clay, and he put it over my eyes, told me to wash, and I wash, and I see. They just was not having it. They weren't having it. The Pharisees, they were like, "This is not true." They didn't believe. But then Yeshua says, and I like this part too, but then Yeshua says, "For judgment I have come into this world, that those not seeing might see, and those seeing might become blind." So the man who is blind sees, and the Pharisees become blind. They just did not believe. Yes. So comment down below what your favorite parts are, and what you might have highlighted. Some highlights I have, or kind of what we just discussed, and basically everything that Yeshua said in this chapter. And my favorite of all time in this chapter, though, is verse 37. Verse 36 and 37. When the man who is blind that now sees says, "Who is he, Adonai, that I might believe in him?" And Yeshua said to him, "You have both seen him, and he who speaks to you is he." Oh, yes. That's amazing. And that is how he works. So, love you all. May Yah bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Shabbat Shalom.
Bye.